laid aside and we can go in and out and then put it back together until we get the money to buy another steel door and have it installed properly, because the frame will have to be redone. It's been bent out of shape. I noticed this is where the buffers were. They were also stolen when the steel door disappeared 2 months ago, and this was the little under stairway maintenance storage area where the buffers had been. And now, of course, this is the first floor bowling area. Now here's the old cast iron scorekeeping stands. We have 8 of the stands. We have about 4 of the tops, and only 1 or 2 of the tops actually any good. I think we have 5 maybe tops. Now this is all the scrap and various things that I've salvaged that I don't want to throw away. They're sitting in here. And there's a fan going down here because it had water damage. Now this is the tool room. This was the pin boys room originally. It had shower, urinal, sink and commode, and now that's the window that I've got 3 pieces of plywood and 2x4 bracing on the inside. This window I need to do the same thing with, brace it up and seal it up, and then secure this door in here so it closes for one, and then brace it real good so that it's going to take a while to break into, and then I can start storing stuff inside here, so if anybody does get inside the building. And extra storage space up in here. So this is where the shower was, right in here in this part. There's a drain right down there, so it was like just a stand-up shower, like a jockey's shower. And the urinal is right here, but the drain doesn't drain very fast, so it's plugged up inside, so I'm not using it. It'd be more efficient to use it since I don't have to dump as much water in to flush it as I do with a toilet. But that's another problem. And let's go back down here to show some of the water damage. These vent shafts now are plugged, but they're working. These are the originals going back to 1929, and then apparently in 1960 when they built up the flooring, especially on the second floor, they plugged up some of them that back when there was plugged. And I broke open the wall here because we had water, and primarily because of the pipe. The pipe is right underneath there, and it was leaking from the roof all the way down here and going underneath the floor. Now I've ripped out the floor. There's some section that's still there, but all of this was black and really bad shape. And the fan is here to blow out, dry it out. And of course these also have lanes on top of lanes, although the original flooring is cement right here, and so this is the original flooring, whereas you can see the back parts of each of these lanes is higher because of go above the lane over there. Now this is all the filled up stuff for when the volunteers come in and do a little bowling. Now you can compare this with the pictures, especially when you get back up here. If you can see the steps, there's only 3 steps showing here, whereas if you look at the picture from 1937, which is the way it was in 1929 when they refurbished it, there's 5 steps. So there's 2 steps below the approach here. So we pull out all this approach, and all this wood can be recycled again. So if we can't sell it, we can recycle it, and at least we get everything we need. I think both to build a roller skating rink, if we can use this wood, and also refurbish the 8 lanes up above without having to buy anything additional. It's just going to be the labor. And if we get volunteer carpenters, or if we get the money to pay them with on-the-job training, mentoring, whatever, apprenticeship kind of a program, I think we can do wonders with the amount of work it's going to take. And here's the shoe area. Here's the office. Finally figured out where the light was over here. And now this door is braced too. Now this is a panel that was found inside the building, and it's bolted up in there with the cross braces here, so that it's going to be very difficult. The light switch is right there for this office, which is since that door is not used, there's no other switch. Now that switch is controlled on the other side of this wall in the coat check room. Oh yeah, there was a sink in here, but there's no toilet. Now there's a place where I could have had a toilet somewhere around here, probably in the coat check room. But and that's the ball cleaner underneath there. That's where I found about $3 worth of quarters sitting inside underneath. That's the timer that controls the light in the other room that I've got that circular bulb in. And this was scorekeeping. Books in there. There's the entry right now. What needs to be done here is put bracing on this too, so it's braced to the frame rather than just the doors. And that'll be done next. And you can see this was built up. This is the weather probably entry area. Now the lights, I should explain some of the lights. One of the big things is that the circuit breakers are up above here. That controls most of the lights. Now this light here, this is the one that should be taped on, and that controls both the stairwell and the yard light, which is kind of dumb. But if you turn it off, then you turn off the timer that controls the outside. Now this one controls the lights at the stairwell going up, and also the lights behind lanes 11 and 12 in the lobby. So you get lobby and stairwell lighting by turning this light on. Now I put bulbs up in there, tubes, fluorescent tubes, whatever, so that those lights work. And so the other one will be taped on, or else we'll have to have the electrician change it so that it controls maybe just the stairwell lights. And actually those should be on switches up by the stairwell, but and that the yard light is controlled with just the timer and on a separate circuit. That's along with any other outdoor lighting. Okay, I'm going to turn this off now and turn these lights off and go back up. Now this is where we started, and we'll continue this circuit just to finish this part here. So going up these stairs, and that's where I started, right at that landing on the second floor. And the time now is, you can see how long it took. Lights that we found. Those are some of the lights, the original lights going back to 1929 that were found up in the attic, and that we possibly could use. So we have the doors, we have the lights, we have the benches down in the basement, the back benches that can be either used to duplicate or whatever. But and the scorekeeping stands. We only need 4 of them, of the old ones, so we conceivably have enough that we could do to recreate those conditions and make it a tourist attraction. And of course down here this would be the roller skating rink, and we have, if we can use this wood, we have the wood to do it. We just have to tear everything out. We have 32 lanes that we need wood for one roller skating rink, the entire extent here. And if we need extra toilets, we can do it all along that area where the workshop is now, and got that because we do have a plumbing run. We know we can add another one going all the way out to the alley maybe and make it all men's and women's restrooms along there, and conceivably even with more access from our expansion of the preteen and even second floor toilets for the expanded teenage area. Maybe have their own separate toilets up in there for meetings and whatever, and then have just the bowling lanes, which involves about 32 people bowling at a time maybe, and so that might be sufficient for that amount for the toilets that exist, two of each, and then have the opening from the lobby there to the men's and the women's through that old storage closet up there. Okay, now we're going to go into the preteen and the snack bar, and I'm going to get those lights on. There's a stairway. Now this is going into the preteen from the lobby. The lobby doors come in here, and then you come in this door, or we also could use these doors here, which is a street door. It needs to be secured. It's secured from the outside, or that door there, which is completely blocked up inside and out with the air conditioner overhead. If nothing else, they can be extra emergency exit doors. That's the door to the grill, which of course will become a Dutch door. This is the bar that's going to be sold, along with the back bar, the cabinets, cold and dry storage. And of course there's holes here going up to the second level, which is where the other bar was, and there was damage, leaking damage, not necessarily from the roof, but from the bar itself. And that may have happened after the burglars started working on it, tearing it all apart. So, and this, the only interesting thing here, of course we got all this barnwood. We're going to try to sell this. Room needs to be a lot lighter. And here's the original diagram. We want to make this part of the letterhead, make the facade. This is the 1929 facade building. There's the double doors with the upper grill work and everything. And that's the toilets, the downstairs, the cop shop. That's hopefully double doors. And then here's the one door, the preteen area, and then there's the fancy door that's blocked off inside and outside. And then of course there's the grill door on the outside. You can see the work on the top, and that's all done to original standards. Look pretty good, but we want to use that outline there as part of a shadow background on our letterhead eventually. Way off when we can afford to spend that kind of money for double printing of letterhead. Here's the ice machine. Now this is going to be taken out, scrapped. And the women's room, women's toilet, there's only one toilet now. That's another problem. We're going to have to see what we can get away with here. We'll have to limit the number of teens we can have. Now here's the back door, which has been bolted from the inside. So there's two 9-inch bolts there, two 9-inch bolts there with the wood bracing. And those can be taken off pretty easily, all one piece, and then that door can be opened up and we can use it, get in and out. There's the boys' men's room. And of course this toilet is completely vandalized, and then this is the window that was, they had tried to break through this window but realized that they were wasting their time when they saw the metal and everything. So that was been sealed up from the inside, but it needs to be sealed in and out until we can replace it, do something with it. Now this is stairway going down into this basement, and I had originally thought that we might be able to make a study room or something out of this, but that's going to be far, far into the future apparently. But we have a cooler down here that needs to be taken out, and there's that was a dry liquor storage in there. Then we have the meters, and of course the meters, there's one meter, and the upper circuit breaker is for the yard light and for the stairwell. So that controls the rear stairwell and yard light. The other meter controls everything else, the bowling alley except the grill. Now there's the main control for the bowling alley. This is the redundant main control for the grill area. There's another one in the grill, but you have two here if you want to shut them both off. It's easier doing it from this basement than going down into both basements, since none of the three basements are connected. And this is the place to connect them back in here, which we could put a tunnel going from that wall, get that oil tank out of here, and going over through that wall and have a tunnel. Now this is the soda pit that had, once I emptied it of soda, it filled back up with who knows what. It looks like water, but it's sewage in it. And there was oil, gasoline, whatever kind of residue out there. And so I don't know if there's something underground leaking or what's going on here, but we got something bad. Okay, now my battery is going down, so I'm going to shut this off and then start again. Got into the preteen room. I'm going to shut bulbs off. Except it's a two-handed operation. And try to get into the grill here while we got battery time left. That's the extent of the